Hey guys, how is everybody? I hope everybody's doing well. We're back here on this 365. If you'll remember, I got it running, but it had a little bit of an air leak. It really wasn't anything that drastic, but just enough to aggravate me. You could tune around it, but I just kind of assumed it not be there. Actually got a lot of time in the cylinder, mainly in machine work. You know, it is what it is. I didn't really want to cook it first time out because I neglected to fix an air leak. But I can spray carb cleaner right in around the intake boot, back of the carb area, and saw it fall right on its face. So, you know, I'm assuming that's the culprit. What I've done, I've bought we bought a new car intake boot. I got one of the metal carburetor flanges, and that's kind of what we're going to do today. We're going to swap all of that out, but what I'm going to do here is we're honestly going to pull the whole cylinder up off of the saw. It may make sense to some people, may not to others. The base gasket that I used on it was the one I pulled off of the saw, and I glued that on. So I'm kind of eliminating two things at one whack here, so to speak, I guess. But I knew that thing had wiggled up off of there with the air filter still on it. I about know 100% sure that the air leaks at the carb boot area, or the intake boot area, but being I have the new base gaskets here, I've assumed just go ahead and put a new base gasket on the saw. I don't know that I'll video all of this, but we are going to video the tear down portion of it, and maybe kind of see what I find. May even make it two parts, I don't know. It seems when I look back, you know, half an hour, 45-minute long videos, they don't do very well. I do have some that pay really well, but you know, it is what it is. There's no need in those being that hot. Try not to work on things on days that I work out. It may make sense to some people, it may not, but when you lift weights, it kind of turns on your central nervous system, the kind of lifting that I do, and you tend to over tighten things. So like if I'm working on one saw, all of this I know is going to sound crazy, but I usually won't work out that way, or, you know, just in fear of stripping something or breaking something. And also we were missing I could have pulled all of that up in one piece, but when I put this together I didn't have a muffler gasket either, and I kind of really wanted to hear the saw running that night, and there's something in the exhaust port, don't know what it is, but oh well, whatever it is, what it is. Let's see, guys. Gotta take this off. Oh, I remember. Now luckily I have one of those laying here. I didn't have any of those Husky, the big coarse thread bolts that go into your AV springs. You guys don't know what I'm talking about, I know, but we put a steel fastener in it, which, yeah, whatever, it's no big deal. It's just a little aggravating to have to change tools in the middle of a tear down or something happened out in the woods, but I always carry more than one saw anyway, so that doesn't really matter. That wire phone on the floor, it's about destroyed, but I look and I've had it a year. I'm like, it's almost time for a new phone, I think. What are we looking for now? Nothing's ever where you exactly need it or where you think you left it. That one's one we need. That one fits the card bolts. We had a JB weld failure already. I never have any luck with shit. I put it in the intake of one saw, and I swear, guys, I think it came loose in the first tank of fuel I put in it. I may be wrong, but yeah, I've never really had any luck with JB weld, especially putting it on plastic parts. I'm thinking I'm going to have to pull the handlebar off of this as well, get the cylinder off. May seem like a lot just to pull the carb setup off, but those of you that have worked on these know it's just so much easier just to pull the cylinder off and pull it all off in one part. I guess I could have started it for you guys, but I think most of you done heard it run anyway, and if you've not, there's a short clip. May not be as short, I'm not sure. I may have made a long video on it, but there's a video on the channel showing it run and me explaining that it has an air leak. And by now, hopefully, you guys have seen the 395 run. It ran about as expected. I mean, hell, it's a damn 395. I mean, it's kind of hard to go wrong there anywhere. But I left a lot of play room on that saw, and I normally don't do that, but I don't even know why I bought it. It's kind of like the 880. I needed it. Kind of like I need another hole in my head, and we really don't need that at all. Come out of there. Right there, what I'm doing is just taking the, you guys know what I'm doing. I was taking the throttle cable loose. Boy, I'm fumbling stuff today. I've got one of these, they're ball headed, but what I done was took and cut the end of it off and filed it down flat for one purpose and one purpose only. And that is to remove Husqvarna cylinder head bolts. Hell, the muffler bolts are in tighter than that. And there's so much cut off of the base of this. I'll just tell you, I'll not be using that tailpipe expander in the lathe anymore. It is just being lazy and being cheap on my part. Even if you can get it true, that thing still, maybe it's just the one I have, just still ain't right. This cylinder will seize within 10 thousandths, and that's why we're running a base gasket and glue. But hell, the price of aluminum stock is no joke right now. I've not even called the steel yard the price. Getting maybe like a 4-foot section of, say, 2.5-inch bar stock steel that we can turn down, make mandrels out of. But you guys know how it is with everything. The price of anything and everything right now is just stupid. God damn, that Moto Seal has got it. Good stuff. I used to use Durco, and a little hard to get a hold of. Real loose. Use a rubber mallet, it don't hurt a damn thing. Guys, that damn Moto Seal had that stuff. You're probably gonna get a face full of fuel if I don't get something to put in the line. Yeah, not a lot of tank pressure on that one. I don't know if that's good or bad. I did put a new fuel line in this one. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. This one was basically a junk pile saw. We do a lot of that here. I just enjoy it. One man's junk's another man's treasure, I've always been told. We got an impulse line. And we got a choke lever still hooked up. Yeah guys, make sure everything's off before you start pulling the jug off. Let's see our bolts, we need to get all those out. There's two of them. I'm 100% sure where the other two went. Maybe they're stuck. There's three. Should have one more. Well, we have one missing. I don't know where it went. Maybe it's still laying on the saw, hopefully. There it goes. Number 4. Gosh, I didn't realize how thin the base was on that thing. There'll be a lot of cleanup. I think it's about 200 thousandths thick when I measured it or something. That gives you an idea, but let's just set our body to our saw over here on our stand. And we're going to take this off. Good and tight and on there good. But I could spray carb cleaner just right in here and saw would just fall flat on its face. And when our intake boot went up, it went right into our box of parts down below. At least I think that's where it went. Yep, where it lays. Alright. Here's what we're looking for. And I kind of wonder if that shitty looking impulse line might not have been the culprit. Very possible. This wasn't the tightest things in the world, or that one wasn't for sure. And we got one over here. I think a lot of people over-carb 372s. I mean, this carburetor here will is the same carb except for it's a Chinese that's on well, my Chinese big bore saw and the other big bore saw we done, and you know, they've never had an issue supplying those saws. We have fines all behind that. What's funny is never really noticed an air leak before I tore the saw down, but I don't know if you can see that. There's fines and dirt and dust all over that, so I'd say that's a culprit. There's no sense in me videoing all of the rest of this, so what I'll do is we'll just kind of go in reverse and clean everything up, put back new parts, and hopefully when I bring you guys back, we have a good running saw and are able to put it in a piece of wood. Guys, I'd say that's a done deal. She's idling now. I've been out there in the shop a little longer than I wanted to be today. I was just informed there was food in the house, so we'll button this project up another day. I try to get this out for you guys to watch it, but that indeed seemed to fix our air leak. Basically, all we done was reversed what we done in the beginning. Put on a new intake boot. I reused the old sleeve. Nothing wrong with that. Put on one of the new metal flanges. It's the flange the carb bolts to and holds your throttle cable. But anyway, hopefully sometime by the end of the week you guys may get to see this thing in a piece of wood. I've still got to make a harness. I know Tim had pointed out maybe it was the switch, but it's just me being too lazy to make a damn wiring harness to go from the switch over to the coil. But I'm going to dig up enough stuff here to do that the next time I fool with this and see if we can get this thing in some wood. But thank you guys for watching. Everybody have a great day.